As a mom of 3, I fully understand the decision fatigue that can come from just the demands of having young children. It's not their fault. They're young, they depend on us. They have questions about the world and we have to world build. We also have to feed them. And while I might not be able to get my daughter to understand that her great-grandfather died because he was old and got sick, and not because he walked into a volcano in El Salvador, I can make my life a little bit easier when it comes to what to feed my children. Let's dive into today's video. I will caveat this really quick and tell you I am not good at feeding myself. This is not going to be a look at me, I'm so healthy type of situation. I kind of subsist on this and Trader Joe's chicken tenders. And that's, you know, I'm working on it. My goal for this year is to take a little bit better care of myself, but that's where I'm at right now. It's the 3rd week of January. I have created a bit of a routine as far as meal times go to help keep the decisions to a minimum. It's the same concept of why I do capsule wardrobes or like a more of a curated closet these days, is I don't want to have to think too hard about what I want to wear. And in the same way, I don't want to have to think too hard about what I'm gonna cook for these kids and myself. Step 1 is I check the calendar. I check the calendar to help me determine what level of cooking we can handle that week. Is it gonna be the 15-minute 5-ingredient capellini that I know my kids are gonna eat? Or is it going to be fish taco bowls that takes like multiple pans to cook? Those two things require different levels of energy and time. And sometimes they're feasible and sometimes they're not. And so I like to check the calendar to suss that out. Step 2, I like to take inventory of our staples. Take stock of the things that I know that we eat regularly, like breakfast foods and the fruit that's in season. Because my like, let's be real, I've got 3 kids 6 and under. Like, it's not like they're eating vegetables. They're not unique children in that sense that they like vegetables. Okay, they'll eat a French fry but not a roast potato. It's fine. I'm not worried about it. It'll be okay. So I take inventory of our staples and begin to build my grocery list based on those things that we always kind of need to have in the house. Step 3 is I start looking at the sales. I sit down on a Sunday, like today, and I start scrolling. What I'm doing when I'm looking through the sales is I'm specifically looking to see what's on sale that we like to eat. As I'm checking the sales, I am, and like I said, this is a little tedious. I am writing it down. Apples at Rayleigh's are this much money. Then I'll write down everything that appeals to me that's on sale at Rayleigh's. Then I'll move on to Safeway and I'll say, oh, apples at Safeway are this much money. And I do that so that I can compare and then kind of plan out my grocery shopping. If Rayleigh's and Safeway don't have good deals on like berries, for example, I will then check like the Sprouts ad just to see if Sprouts typically has better prices on fresh produce. And then occasionally go through the paper ads that come through and take a look at those. Just recently, I found chuck roast at Safe Mart for like literally, I think $3 a pound. And I was like, yeah, I literally went there just for the beef. I think I got almost 5 pounds of roast for less than $20. I will sometimes go out of my way to snag a really good deal. At this point, I have like a list in my brain of what's in season. I've looked at what's on sale and I've looked at our calendar to see like what level of cooking we're gonna be able to execute well this week. In step 4 is where I start to bring that all together. Start building the dinner menu. This will be the time for me to tell you that I have kind of a set schedule of breakfast and lunch meals that just repeat every single day on that day of the week. If I'm left to my own devices, my kids will just end up snacking all day. I use an app called AnyList. This is not sponsored by them. God, I wish this was sponsored. It's not. I've been using the paid subscription version for at least 2 years at this point, and I recommend it. I think it's 20 bucks for the full year. I go through the week and I add in the dinners. I start adding those things in AnyList, and then what I do, step 5, because I have the pro version of AnyList, it breaks down all of the ingredients that are required for the recipe. I can easily go through my plan for the week, click on a meal, and then start adding specific ingredients that are not part of my staples. I can start adding that to my grocery list. Then, hold on, I need to take a sip. I will start to cross-reference. Because I have the paid AnyList, I can assign stores. I'll go through my grocery list and cross-reference it with the other list I've made of what's on sale that week and what the prices are. Whoever has the blueberries that are on sale, that's where I'm gonna go get them. And so I start assigning stores. Monday morning rolls around and I get to shopping. I will go to Trader Joe's. I will grab the things that I always grab there, things like bananas. The pricing is pretty static on those. And then I'll grab a couple of little like snacky things. My chicken tenders that I survive off of. I swear to God, I eat those for lunch pretty much every day. Is it the most healthy, nourishing thing in the world? Probably not. Actually, no, it's not. But does it bring me comfort in the middle of the day, and does it give me a dose of protein, and does it keep me satiated until dinner? Yes, it does. So I'm gonna take it as a win. Typically I do the bulk of my shopping between Trader Joe's and Braley's, and then we'll supplement with some stuff from Safeway. Although when Safeway has good deals, they have great deals. And so I will kind of bop around between the two depending on what the sales are looking like and what we're needing. Typically one of them will have the larger haul. I know that Grocery Outlet is very popular. Grocery Outlet feels a little bit like I don't know what to expect when I'm going in there. But when I've shopped at Grocery Outlet, I have really enjoyed the selection that I found there. Because I shop sales, I don't know that it is saving me money. But that's not a knock on Grocery Outlet. It's just not part of my routine. And once I've shopped at the 3 stores and I've crossed off everything on my list, I get myself a little coffee treat and reward myself for a job well done. And obviously, like, once I get home, I unload everything, I put everything away, and that's my routine. That is the grocery shopping and menu planning routine. And I will tell you, I keep it very flexible. While I'm planning, I have these themed days, right? I have like a pasta day and a Latin day or whatever. That doesn't mean that every Tuesday we make a taco or we make some sort of Latin food. It just means that once we are living our life and things come up, plans kind of shift, plans change, work gets crazy or someone gets sick, I can very easily move things around and say, okay, we thought we could like dive in and do this like heavy prep meal on Tuesday. It looks like you're super swamped. Let's move that to Wednesday, or let's move it to Thursday. And I just like move stuff around as needed. But simply having the plan of what we're eating and what do we actually need to buy is very helpful. The point of all of this is that we're all doing our best to feed our families within our budget, right? What I want to leave you with is not a do exactly this and then you'll never waste food again. You'll never stress out about cooking again. You probably will. You probably will, because feeding a family is stressful. I feel like we all learned this during lockdown, that like feeding yourself multiple times a day and having to think about what you're gonna feed yourself, that is like mental labor that you didn't even know that you were doing. My like little Enneagram 4 hope is that if you already do this kind of thing, that you saw yourself in it. I know that a lot of times the like work of caretaking, of homemaking, of motherhood, whatever we want to call it, that work is very often unseen or taken for granted. I won't even say unnoticed. I will say taken for granted. I feel a bit neurotic explaining how I do all of this, but I know that I'm not the only one because my friends have told me I'm not the only one. My hope is that you take this and you make it work for you. Make it work for your family, make it work for your personality. For me, if I front load the decision making, I tend to feel better during the week. So if you are someone who is struggling, you know, during day to day, trying to figure out what to make for dinner, try this out. Try front loading the decision, putting a couple of hours of effort once into planning out some meals, and then if it works out for you, great, and if not, pivot, you know? That's my coffee. That's my process. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope that this video was helpful. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I'm really trying to monetize this channel this year, and I can't do that if you don't watch, and I can't do that if you don't subscribe. So please subscribe, help a girl out. All right, friends, thank you for hanging out with me today. If you have any other video requests, let me know in the comments. I hope you have a lovely week, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.